questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Coach, whenever you're ready.
I want to open up with really excited about what's going to be happening at halftime of the game, honoring the 1987 team that was undefeated, that finished fourth in the nation. On to the game, Middle Tennessee, the Blue Raiders, Coach Stockstill. Obviously, they played a fantastic opponent, Vanderbilt. Game didn't go their way. They played outstanding defense in the game. Offensively, they had some troubles, but that's a fine football team. Their quarterback, his son, is an NFL player. They have an outstanding wide receiver. I believe his last name is James. A really good tight end. Their offensive line is a little young. Defensively, they have a SEC All-American from Missouri that transferred back. I believe he's number 56. Their linebackers is the strength of their defense, and they have an outstanding corner. I believe number 6 is outstanding cover corner in their secondary. Very, very good football team, bowl team last year, one of 11 bowl teams that will be playing to finish out the season. So I'll leave it up and open it up to questions.
Steven?
What can you tell us on how Antoine's been doing and when he might be back on the field?
Haven't got the final word on Antoine with the holidays and today being a holiday and doctor hours and stuff, but we should be hearing something soon, but I don't know the exact stuff right now.
Going back to Central Connecticut State, Steve went on the field wearing number 97 to field a punt, and I didn't see Antoine out there as well. You know, what happened with his number switch?
Antoine was out there. He was squeezed between two really big guys, and he was trying to block a kick, and he didn't get the block. Anytime you have two, you're not allowed to have the same number on the field at the exact same time. So we had to put a jersey on Ish so that they could be on the field at the same time. But he was up in the front line trying to block a kick on that play.
Nico?
Yeah, Coach, watching Middle Tennessee the other day, they lost, but like you were saying, it's easy to see some of the pieces they have, especially on offense, they're really clicking. When you approach this, tell them guys, make sure you don't look at that, the game on Saturday and look at this is a really good offense, especially.
Vanderbilt is really, really well coached. Derek Mason, who actually played for me, he was one of my players when I was at Northern Arizona University, has an outstanding defensive reputation and used to be the defensive coordinator for Harbaugh and all that stuff. He knows what he's doing on defense, and that was a fabulous game plan against those guys. That's a good offense, and they're going to come in here, and I'd be very surprised if they don't score some points and move the football because they are efficient, and that quarterback is really, really good.
Yes, Matt.
Dino, Syracuse has opened with an FCS opponent the last 4 years now, and then 11 this year, like you said, bowl opponents. Do you think big-time schools like Syracuse should be opening up with FCS opponents?
All you have to do is ask UNLV. Howard University went down. I think it was they were 45-point dogs to UNLV and beat UNLV for one of the biggest upsets ever. And I don't follow the numbers and I don't follow the money, but someone said you could put like $10 down and win if you took the points, you'd have won like $400,000 or something like that. Anytime you see an upset like that, or the time, I want to say, I'm going to get this wrong, was it Appalachian State that beat Michigan? Anytime you see one of those David versus Goliath stories, that's the main reason why you should have those games. And what people don't understand is when you're at an Eastern Illinois like I was and you get an opportunity to add $400,000, $250,000, $600,000 to your athletic budget just by playing one game, it's kind of hard to turn that money down. So I hope they still do things like that. I think that every team should give a chance for those guys to play them and have an opportunity to win because you never know what's going to happen once the ball's kicked off.
In the back?
Coach, in light of the fact that I think all of your players were not born in 1987, but there's still, a deep community relationship to the 87 team, and the fact that all of this is happening and Coach McPherson won't be there, is it emotional for the players or more for the coaching staff and the outlying group of people around?
I think it's more for the players and the outlining people around it, people like you and I that were around in '87. But I think the one thing the players appreciate is when you get your head coach and you get people in the community or in the administration or people like yourself talking about that team, that football players know what a good team sounds like when they hear about it. And to hear what that team did and the things that they've gone through, there's a link. There's a link to the past. And I think they'll appreciate what's going on. I wish we could see it. You know, I really wish we could see it. Now, we can't. Maybe we can tape it and have an opportunity to watch it later, but I bet you it'll be a very emotional deal for him.
I have to imagine it's not very often a bunch of college football players go up against their former head coach. I mean, you got most of the starters on your offense going up against the head coach, Scott, defensive coordinator there, going up against the system they worked against. Is it different at all different kind of preparing them for a game like this, and for you, just what's it like trying to get them ready for what seems like a pretty unique kind of human moment?
You know, for me, it's more of a step out of the way moment. You know, you raise your kids, and they're going to get an opportunity to prove their worth, to prove they can do it without mom and dad. This is an opportunity to go back and show dad that you can cut the grass in a checkerboard and it looks right. This is your opportunity to go back and show dad that, you know, that engine, I do know how to rebuild it. I can put it back together. I think it's one of those proud moments. You know, a lot of these guys weren't in the room because Scott Schaefer recruited them or he coached them, and that's a positive. And now it's an opportunity for them to go back and say, hey, you know what? You recruited me. You thought I could be this, and now it's an opportunity for you to show them, to show Scott, you know, hey, look, this is how I grew up, and you know, how you like me now, sort of. So it'll be fun for them.
Is there any kind of, I don't know if concern is the right word, but Scott Schaefer knows Eric Dungy pretty well, Steve Ishmael, Eric Phillips. I think both tackles, recruited Sam Eckel even. Does that present any unique challenges for you and how you kind of prepare them, just knowing that, you know, he probably knows some of their strengths, some of their weaknesses, some of their tendencies?
Yeah, no, it's a huge advantage. I think if you ask me to go back and coach one of my old teams, I'm going to know those players. Now, what he doesn't know is what's happened since he's left, but I think he'll have a great feel for this football team, and I think he'll come up with a fabulous game plan based off of the personnel.
All the way back.
And Coach, even though Eric Dungy had a very good game on Friday, it still seems like he has a lot to learn under your system. What do you think he needs to do in order to mature into your system fully and really take the next step to become one of the best quarterbacks in?
You know, really, from a quarterback standpoint, it was the best game he ever played here. And some of the mistakes that were made to the common eye were not his mistakes. There were other players making the mistakes. It was a the grade that he got, which I'm not going to tell you, was a very, very high first game grade. I'm not sure we've ever given a first game grade higher than that to start a season, even to a second-year quarterback. So he was really operating at a very high level. He just needs to keep developing, you know, and he needs to be around 12 games. If he's going to be able to affect a game like that, you know, what would he be able to do if he could to affect a season if we could keep him for 12 games playing at that level? So that's what we've got to get him to.
You guys went with a lot of last four wide receiver sets in this game compared to last year. Something you guys used a lot. Is that more of just kind of a change in approach, or maybe a result of guys like Chris and Ray coming in, big bodies, and, you know, do it differently?
We needed to get him in the game. You know, we want to see how much flexibility we have with some of these other formations. And as the opponents get better and better and better, the younger players may or may not be able to contribute in those games based off of how fast they develop. So we wanted to get the younger players in there in some of these formations so they'd have some growth to see how far they can take it. Maybe they can do it against FCS. Maybe they can't do it versus our next opponent. Maybe they can, and then maybe they can't do it versus ACC opponents. We've got to continue to water them. We've got to continue to fertilize them. They've got to continue to grow to see if they can withstand the ACC, especially the ACC Atlantic part of the schedule.
Dino, obviously last year with the Brits, punt return was such a huge kind of successful part for your team. Antoine was listed there last week. Obviously, we don't know about him right now. What have you seen from Sean so far in the punt return game, and is there anything you can take away, either positive or negative from Friday?
You mean Sean Riley?
Yeah.
Sean's doing good. We're going to try some more guys back there, just because we don't know what's going on with Antoine yet. But we're going to try some more guys back there. But Sean's fine. He does a good job with that stuff.
You kind of pointed out Middle Tennessee State's offensive line. Vanderbilt got back there pretty often. You've talked about the importance of pressuring the quarterback from this defense, you know, this year. How good of a barometer do you think this might be for that defensive line, and I guess also the accompanying blitz packages you guys have installed?
You know, I don't know, because I really, in my heart, I believe Vanderbilt's really, really good, and I know they're well coached. So they could have better personnel than us. We may not be able to do the things that they were capable of doing against them. So we just got to wait and see, and the proof will be in the pudding. But I'm not sure it's really. it's hard to tell because I have such a high opinion of Vanderbilt and their personnel, whether we can do the things that they did.
You certainly saw the effect it had on
Oh,
the
there's no,
quarterback, and I mean that.
but you have to get there. If you don't get there, there is no effect. And they were getting there. Yeah, absolutely.
Last two questions, Matt?
Do you know the percent of graduate transfers since 2007 is almost nearly doubled? You have a few on your team this year. How valuable are graduate transfers to a football team like yourself?
You know, my opinion, I think, may be a little bit different than other coaches. I just feel like if you've done your undergraduate work and you graduated from a university and you want to go somewhere else and play, you should be allowed to do that. I've got a player that played in the West Virginia game last night. I had a player that played in the UNLV game. I had a player play in the Texas-Maryland game. All those guys were on our team last year. But if that's what they want to go do and they feel that's the best for them, my attitude is, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. So it doesn't affect me. I'm not as harsh about it as some other guys. I just think it's a right that they should have that right to do it if that's what they really want to do. And if they come and they join us and they help our team, that's great. And if they want to go somewhere else and help another team and not stay here and play, that's great also.
Final question for Coach.
Maybe from a schematic standpoint, it's really interesting from an outsider to see your offense going up against Scott's defense, because those are kind of the schemes you've identified with as you've developed as coaches. Can you kind of take a step back and like see that and get into that X's and O's standpoint? And what do you think of kind of how your hurry-up spread matches against his, I know you don't like to label it that, sorry, against kind of his pressure scheme?
I think it's going to be a heck of a chess match. That's all. And it's going to be a great exam. It's going to be tough. You don't know what the questions are on it. And the best thing I could suggest for me to do is get a good night's sleep and show up with a clear mind so I can adjust and improvise.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Thanks,